classroom window. We all looked out. It was snowing. Do you see? The snowflakes were huge, like frisbees or dinner plates, watermelons.
The Manitoba Theatre for Young People is opening up its 2025-26 season with a production titled Gather. The story explores the importance of gathering with others after a deep freeze hits a community, forcing residents to stay indoors with no outside connection. Joining us now to tell us more about the Canadian premiere of MTYP's latest production is the co-playwright of Gather, Julia Lederer. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I love how it's sort of portrayed in that video that we just saw, you know, the community and the snowstorm that hits. Tell us a little bit about what's happening in this story.
Yeah, so Gather takes place in a town, a small town with a very engaged community. Okay. And there is a massive snowstorm in the middle of May. And suddenly everyone unexpectedly has to spend all their time inside because it's too cold and dangerous. Okay. And spend all their time separately inside. And so the play is sort of centered around what that feeling is like and how people change and what's challenging about it. And then the act of coming back together after it and what that's like to become a community again and celebrate that. And the moments you've lost and also the appreciation you've gained. Yeah. As well for one another.
It feels like we experienced that during COVID. Is that what has inspired this story?
Yes. So the play premiered in Chicago at Filament Theater in 2022 in March. And it was their first playback after COVID. So it was the first time that, like for me as a writer, I got to be in a rehearsal room again, which was something I didn't know if I'd ever get to experience at that point. And it was created with youth collaborators, so kids who are ages sort of 5 to 12, and began engaging with them about how they were feeling coming out of COVID. What had they experienced? What didn't we know that they'd experienced? And what had been challenging about that? And what did they want to talk about? But my co-playwright, Julie Ritchie, and I, neither of us wanted to write a COVID play. Like that was the last thing we wanted to do. Right. We wanted to celebrate community instead, but also be honest about how we were feeling as a community. And so the play came from that experience, but is very much about themes of isolation and loneliness and friendship and what we feel like we need and how we're wired to be connected to other people, but sometimes life can make that challenging for a myriad of reasons. Right. And also when you're suddenly able to come back together after a long time apart, that's also challenging. There's an adjustment there. There's anxiety and a need to be accepted, and you have to sort of build that sense of communication again after you've experienced such big things separately.
It sounds like a big issue, a big feelings kind of story, but there's moments of laughter. There's lots of things that really make you feel joyful in this production. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, one of the other goals of the play was like, can we just have the best time in a theater? Like, we haven't gotten to be in a theater, and so can we just like have a great time? Not just the actors, like everyone involved. And so joy is a huge part of it. Celebration is a huge part of it. There's a lot of magic, like theater magic. And the hope is, I mean, the people in the play love living in this town, and we want the audience to love living in it as well.
Okay, so what do you want parents and families to know about this production?
That it's a theater experience where you are immediately part of the town. And so we are all in community together, and like any play, but specifically with this one, it's going to be different every time it happens. It also is going to change and grow dependent on how the audience responds to the invitations that are offered throughout the story.
Okay, well, Gather starts tonight. It runs until the 26th, so if you want more information, we have a link on our website with details on tickets. Thank you for sharing this with us. It sounds like so much fun.